Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Peace, family. This your brother, Mr. Holipsism. Here today to talk about today's topic, which is nationhood pushback. Knowledge or brainwashing? What's the point of this topic? It's my thesis that the pushback against nationhood is based on propaganda and brainwashing and not on information and knowledge. That's my thesis. And I'm going to prove my thesis with some supporting points, and I think that you come to the same conclusion that I did at the end of this video. So why do I say that the pushback against nationhood is based on propaganda and brainwashing and not on information and knowledge? Well, the first reason is, where are the institutions that educate people on pushback talking points? Where do people learn these talking points? Do they go to a school? Do they go to a university? Do they go to some learning center? Is there some group that they go to? Some club? Where do they learn all of these talking points that push back against nationhood? What I think is that, this is just my opinion, people like to engage in what I call tape recorder knowledge, meaning they just repeat back what somebody else said, like a tape recorder, and not really process or try to understand what is being said, but rather just repeat what they heard from somebody who said it, that it sounded kind of cool, so they took it and they said the same thing. That's tape recorder knowledge. It's not based on information. It's not based on you doing research. It's based on what you heard somebody else say, and then you're repeating their talking points like a parrot. Now, what will cause somebody to do that? This is just my personal opinion. Fear. That's it. Fear. Nothing more, nothing less. Fear is what makes you push propaganda. Push stuff that you heard other people say and push it forward because you fear change. You fear not being in the same position that you've always been used to being in. It's like the gorilla that won't leave the cage even after you open it, because it's gotten so used to being locked up that being free is scary. Here's another thing, a second point as to why I feel that the pushback against nationhood is based on brainwashing and propaganda. Why is it that the people that never read a book in their life are able to repeat the same talking points as people who have? So that means the most ignorant of us is so familiar and well versed in these talking points. The same as somebody who actually reads books and has some type of scholarly reputation. Why are these two people repeating the same talk? Did the ignorant people learn from them? Is that what it is? I mean, it's an interesting question. I'm not going to even provide an answer, but I'm just going to throw it out there as a question. Why is it that the most ignorant, dumbass black person who don't read is able to push back against nationhood with the same talking points as somebody who does? I'll just leave that out there. Another thing is, I was talking with my cousin, and he said that when he talks to people, it usually follows, like, all of the Negro stalling tactics follow not necessarily an order, but they're all present in the conversation. What do I mean? Well, the top talking points against nationhood is, we can do it right here. America is our land. That usually comes up somewhere in the conversation. Africans don't like us or want us in Africa. That usually comes up at some point in the conversation. We need to live off the grid in America. That usually comes up in the conversation. Africa is not safe or unsafe. That comes up in the conversation. And of course, the main number one talking point is that the white man is everywhere. No matter what you do, white man is going to destroy it. No matter what you try, white man is going to prevent you from doing it. That's probably the most important talking point, or the one that they push forward the most. So my question is, going back to the other previous question, is where are they getting this from? Because if you're able to repeat this stuff, if everybody can repeat it, then that's propaganda. Unless there's a school or an institution where this stuff is being taught, then you're talking about propaganda. Which leads me to this point. You cannot form a strong and passionate opinion before researching something. It doesn't make sense. You don't come to a conclusion first and analysis second. And if I'm going over your head, let me make it more down to earth. Let's say I come to you and I say, yo, this dude David, yo, that dude is full of shit. And you go, whoa, that's strong language. That's a pretty strong statement to make about David. Why do you say that? Well, I mean, because he's just full of shit. All right, I know that he's full of shit, but what did he do? Well, listen, man, I'm not here to have a conversation about David or his how his personality. I'm just telling you that the dude is full of shit. Well, can you provide me some examples of how David is full? Well, listen, man, if you want me to provide examples for you, listen, you got to give me some time. I can come back in a week or so, and then I can present you the information that you want. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Why do you have to come back a week later to tell me information as proof that David is full of shit if you already agreed that he's full of shit? That doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm talking about. People come to a conclusion before they do any research. And then when you push on them to get answers from them, they can't give you any. Why? Because they're basing their conclusion on propaganda. They're basing it on feelings. When you say a word, and the Republicans are great at doing this. I'll give you an example. When they're at a rally, Donald Trump, all Donald Trump has to say is, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Bernie Sanders. The person's name becomes a pejorative. You don't have to present any information as to why it's negative, but just saying their name elicits a negative response. This is what brainwashing is. Because if you go to the average person, like let's say you go to the average right winger and say, listen, why don't you like Bernie Sanders? Oh, this guy's a socialist. He's a social democrat. He doesn't believe in socialism. He doesn't believe in communism. He basically believes in a capitalist society with a social safety net. That's his policies. Well, he wants to turn America into Venezuela. Well, I'll repeat. He's a social democrat, meaning that his policies are more looking in line with Norway, Denmark, Sweden, the Scandinavian regions, capitalist society, social safety net. Well, I don't know. I mean, he just wants a government takeover of America. Oh, you mean like Medicare? He's blah 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 blah. You can't get any answers because they're basing their perceptions on propaganda. Somebody told them that this person is negative, and then they, like Pavlov's dog, respond to the name of the person and react negatively. It's like the dog drooling when you ring the bell. So is there anything else? I mean, this isn't a long video. It didn't take long to make this point. People are basing nationhood pushback off of propaganda. If you press them to ask them why they're against having their own, they can't give you an answer. But it just feels wrong. It feels negative. Why? Because somebody told them that it was. And they're repeating their talking points like a fucking parrot without doing any research, without trying to, like if you really want to come to a conclusion, what you do is you analyze and research first, and then you form your conclusion based on the information. If you're not researching, then what are you basing your conclusions on other than feelings? Because you're not basing it on facts. You're not basing it on evidence. So this is just, I just want to touch on this because if you get pushback from people when you tell them that black folks should have a nation of their own, at least know why you're getting the pushback. It's not that they're dishonest players, even though they're not honest players. They're just working off of propaganda and brainwashing. So when you say certain things, it elicits some Pavlovian response from them. And they start drooling when you start ringing the bell of nationhood. So don't get frustrated. Don't lose hope. Because we have many people of like mind in the BAIO who are more than willing to bring you into the fold and work toward nationhood with you. So this is mainly for the people that are black African nationalists and African-centered progressives who are out there seriously trying to pull their people in the right direction and pull them away from misery merchants and pimps and hustlers and try to get them surrounded by people of like mind who actually want the same thing that you want. We want a future for our people, and we want our people to be free, and we want land, infrastructure, and nationhood, and total and complete control of our social, economic, and political environment. And the only way we're going to get that is if people of like mind work together, not convincing Negroes to stop being Negroes. And that's all I got to say about that. Anyway, I'll holler at you good people later. Peace.
You can't compare to the status right here. Legendary worldwide, we can battle right here. Listen, Junior, I'ma tear back your wig. This ain't TV, but I'll show you what a fear factor is. Stop grilling me, and all that fronting is killing me. You leave me no choice but to hurt your feelings, G.
About to slap rappers around and bruise the game. What?